Hey guys, back again. So now let's actually start building the application. So you will see that I am here in the React Lazy YouTube that we created before, and it's running actually okay on localhost 3000. So let me just minimize that. So what we need to do now is inside source create a new folder, components, and start creating a few files inside. So let's say main.js, add post.js. We just minimize that, and post.js. Okay, so those three. Okay, so what we're going to do now in this first video is just go through the service. We're going to make that fast because it's the same service that we built before. So let me just, okay, so we will in fact need to come back to source and create a new one, which is going to be services, a new folder, and inside, okay, I have it as post service. Okay, that JS, nice. Okay, so post service. Okay, it's not that big. Okay, but I forgot one thing. So we will need to go here and say npm rxjs because we will need to use this. Okay, npm is this one. Okay, okay, so it's not that rx, no, rxjs. Okay, well, I should actually change the search engine there. So let's say npm rxjs. Okay, let's try that again using what most of us use, that is Chrome. Okay, and you can see rx is reactive extension for JavaScript. So you will need to say, okay, it's actually yeah, sure, npm install rxjs. So let's just click here. It's going to copy to the clipboard. We're going to close this one and we're going to paste that. So npm install rxjs. Okay, so while that is installing, it's not going to change anything inside our file, so we can start working. So I'm not going to type this, I'm just going to explain it because I actually typed it and explain it in the MERN stack application that we built. And also this one is simpler since we will not handle pagination, okay, and we will not handle the update. Those functions are the same things that we have inside the MERN application. You will just need to copy those and add it here, okay, and structure your components the same way, except for the React Router hooks that we're going to use, okay, and the React Suspense. So that's the only thing that is going to change, but I'd rather to do it from scratch, only to show you with the main or the core features, so you can just migrate your applications easier instead of trying to figure it out how to set the routing and the hooks of the React router. So what I'm going to copy this. So we're going to use the observable in order to create a new observable on which we will pass the stream of the information from the API. As you can see, we have this HTTP. Let me just make this bigger. HTTP localhost 4000 API 1 because we want the first page. Okay, I explained how to respond with multiple or according to the page that we receive, or if we don't have a page, only respond with the first page, but that is set on the MERN stack application. You will need to check that in the MERN stack application, okay, because it's a overhead here in order to show you how to create or how to handle the lazy loading and the React routers. So as many times I would need to repeat that, I will. Okay, for you to understand that this is not the full application. This is only to show you how to migrate most of the features or the main features that is the router, and to make it work with the latest features. So this one is for the posts, you can see. And of course, if there's an error, we're going to catch the error of the observer and return that. So the next one is the post, which is again an observer. So for this, we're going to respond, or we're going to require the post ID as an argument, and we're going to set this to fetch. We're using fetch, we're not using Axios. Okay, you don't need to use Axios. You will need to learn how to use it with fetch, how to handle observables, and how to make everything on your own. Okay, because there is no point of using a module, okay, to install a module in order to get a feature that is actually built in the JavaScript. There was a news that happened that this promisify or promise in npm, a little library that it was just one line checking if an function was a promise or not. Okay, it responded with, I think, true or false, I can remember. But since a ton of people use that instead of checking actually if the promise was or not using the core JavaScript features, when they updated that library, it broke a ton of of applications. So just as I said, just don't do that. Use fetch, use whatever you have in hand with JavaScript, because that is the best way. Okay, sorry, that was my phone. Okay, forgot to silence that. So as I said, we're going to fetch using the post ID to the localhost 4000 API post. Okay, all this is set in the API. I will also leave, of course, the API link, sorry, in the description, so you can check that. We respond or we pass the. It's the same that we're doing here. We're passing the information using the next method, and then setting that as a complete operation, and then if everything or if there is an error, we are going to set that or return that. So we're going to move to the next function, which is the create post. Okay, this is kind of just a refresher. So we're going to deconstruct this post, which is going to come from a form with the title, content, and cover. So the cover is going to actually be a file. Okay, so that's what we're going to set here. We are going to set it as from data. We can see that on line 31 in order to handle the file. So that's why we are doing this. So title, content, and cover, and of course, since we're uploading, we need to set the file. So this is the actual file, and this is the name of the file. Okay, so as options, we set the method of post, and we set the body of the request to be from data. Okay, and then we just return the response of this. Okay, so let's go to delete, which is the last function inside this service. And let me just make this bigger. So delete post is going to take this post ID as the argument. We're going to pass that later. So it's going to check, or I'm sorry, it's going to create a new form data, because this is how we're going to handle the ID. Okay, and we're going to set the method as delete and pass this ID, because we cannot pass the ID in the body. We need to pass it as form data. So we pass it as form data, and we just make the fetch and return the response. Okay, so and after this, we're going to just say export. Let me just type this, because why not? Export constant posts service equals to, and here we add posts, comma, post, this thing, create post, which is all these are the names of the functions. Okay, so delete post. As you can see, it turns out blue. So this is how we're going to export the functions inside this file. So this could be kinda a singleton, but we will see patterns later. Okay, so everything is set here. I was thinking about something else, sorry. So we actually have that. And we will need to do something before. Okay, so we have a one package. So let me go and make this smaller and say see the package.json for you to see that we are running rxjs. But we will need to do one more thing. React Router and install this here. So you can see npm install, no sorry, npm install React Router DOM, Control C. So you need to be here in the web, not in the core, in the web, okay? And just paste that and install the React Router DOM. For us, in the next video, to set the routing or the components and then the routing, so we don't have to install this later. So give me just a second, and while this is starting or while that installs, let me just check the yeah, so we could actually okay, but let's leave that for the next video. So this should install and we will continue in the next video. Okay, that actually installed right now. So let's leave this one here and continue with the components. Just set the bare bones of the components or the skeleton and then add the suspense in order to handle the lazy loading.